Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to cut this build up neckline. Welcome back to my channel. So all you need is one strand of ashoke, and my one strand of ashoke is 35 inches unfold, which means it is 70 inches. Your ashoke can actually come longer than 70 inches, but mine is 70 inches, and that's all you need. Now I have already cut the necklines, but I'm going to be showing you how I did that by placing a white paper so that it can be defined and you can also see it properly. So I'm just drawing back what I cut out before. What I just need is 3 inches by width. So mark 3 inches by width and 2 inches as the length. So that's how you cut your neck line. 3 inches as the width and 2 inches as the length. Now here we have both the front and the back. So I'm going to open it and then separate one. So that one that I just took out becomes my back, and this one, it is now my front. Now for the front, I'm now going to show you how you can cut the proper front neckline. Now the thing you need to do is to measure 8.5. When you measure 8.5, mark it the same way I'm marking it. Now right on this 8.5, you're going to mark 1.5. So the next thing I'm going to show you is what this means and how it's going to come out. Now if you mark 1.5, the result will look like this. On the neckline, it will have a gap just like this, and I really like this because it relaxes very well on the neck when you wear it. I really love it. Now that is when you mark 1.5, but when you're using 1 inch like this, I'm also going to show you how the end will look like. The end will be so closed up, it is still beautiful. So we're going to work according to your preference, but my preference is 1.5. Work according to your preference. For some people, they want it closed up. For some people, they want the gap on it. Now I'm using 1.5 and I'm going to connect it to the upper neckline just like I did. I'll go ahead to cut it. And then indicate the back, then open it up. So this becomes the front. The next thing I'm going to do is to build this part. This part that I'm showing you is what I'm going to do. But before then, I'm going to build the arm. Now this is the sleeve, and the sleeve we measured 11 inches. Why I'm doing this process that you need to follow is because we are going to be managing this one strand of ashoke. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark 12 inches. Remember, what we measured is 11 inches on the arm, but I'll mark 12 inches. That is 1 inch allowance so that it will not be the exact, so that it can be excess. Now on this particular 12 inches that I've marked out, I'm going to mark out 2 inches, just what I'm doing. Please follow this exact thing that I'm doing, because you're going to see how it will end and you will thank me later. So I just marked out 2 inches and I'm going to cut it off. Do it exactly what I'm doing, and by this method you'll be able to utilize that one strand very well. If you do not follow it this way, you will run out of your one strand of ashoke. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is to build this part that I showed you before. Okay, I'll go ahead to indicate the back of my ashoke and then come on this part and fold well. This part now, I'm going to fold it and use my iron to press it down. Make sure that you're using a very steaming, good ironing. This is very important. This good ironing is very important. Okay, now I'm going to keep it straight. I won't slant it like this. No, don't slant it this way. Keep it straight. What this means is that when you keep it straight, you find out that by the time you're done sewing it, your placement will look very straight. It won't look bending. It won't look like it is going one-sided. It's going to look straight, and if you do it very well, this is what it's going to give you. I'll turn and then trim off the excess. If you do it well, you're going to have this shape and this trimming off. Now I'm done trimming off the excess. It's going to look this way. Then I'll go to my machine and then sew this part. I'm still ironing. I'll go to my machine and sew down this part only. The next thing I'm going to do now is to bring the back panel of my gown and then join the shoulders. Once I'm done joining the shoulders, I'm also going to weave it so that it will be very neat. All right, then I'm done weaving it. I will open it up and iron. Remember, in our class we iron and we notch. If you're following me, you know that ironing is very, very important. You can never underestimate the power of ironing. I'll go ahead to iron and then turn. Okay, now this is very important, this part, and it's simple, but you're going to do it carefully. I'll start from my center back. This is my center back, and then measure all the way to this point. I'll do it again from my center back and measure all the way to this point, exactly that line. Okay, not where their showcase stops, so exactly the line that I cut in the beginning. So my round neck gave me 24 inches. Okay, one side gave me 12, the other side gave me 12, which is 24. Now I'm going to come to my ashoke, come on one side of it, so this one side, and then cut 26. Instead of that 24, I'm going to cut 26. See, whenever you measure something, don't cut exactly that. At least give 1 inch or 1.5 or 2 inches. But for me to play safe, I gave it 2 inches allowance, which made it to be 26 inches. I went ahead to indicate the back and then folded my ashoke into 2, just like I am doing. Go ahead to iron it down. Remember, ironing is very crucial. Now I will mark what I need to build my neckline. So what I needed is 2.1, and this is what 2.1 looks like on your tape, measuring tape. Now I'll go ahead to mark that 2.1 all the way, use my straight ruler and then outline it and do the cutoff. Okay, make sure that you use your straight ruler. I know that your hand is straight, but use your straight ruler. Then I'm going to go ahead to fix it. First of all, hold it down together like this and then notch the center. I'll find the center and notch it. Now I'm going to start from the center back of my gown. So this is the center back. I will sew one side just like this all the way to my line. So I'm done sewing one side. I'll go ahead and finish up the other side. You see where I stopped? This line is where you need to stop. Okay, I'll go ahead to do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm not going to start from that center back and come down. I'm going to measure it this way, use my pencil and notch where the other side stops. Just okay, you see, marked it and then start from this point. Why I did this is because I want to sew from the same facing. I don't want to turn back and start sewing. Most times when you do it that way, it can run short of your measurements, your ashoke or everything. But when you sew from one side facing, I hope you understand what I'm saying. But yes, I'm done sewing that, and the next thing I'm going to do now is to notch. Now you see the way I'm notching. I didn't notch straight. I marked it slanted. If you check what I marked, it is looking slanted. Okay, notch it very slanty. Please be very careful not to overcut past the line. Okay, you have to be very careful and then go ahead to weave. I'm done weaving. I'll have to now turn gently. Do this part gently because you find out that the ashoke will be disturbing you a little. So do this part gently. Take out your time and do this part just the way I'm taking my time to place it down and then iron. Okay, now when you're doing this particular part, if the ashoke is giving you issues or being a little bit hard for you to turn over, you can notch it out so that you can take away that disruption. Now, like I said, please do this part gently and do not rush it, and definitely you will get it right. Now come on and then iron gently and iron very well. The next thing you're going to do is to turn and then do the back finishing very well. This part is very important, especially when you want the outcome to be very neat. You see the way I just folded the back inward? Do it that same way and then use your hemming gum and hold it. If you use your hemming gum, you can also go to the machine and sew it neatly. But for the tutorial and what I did, I used only hemming gum, but I will advise you to also use your sewing machine to hold it neatly after you're done using your hemming gum. All right, and that's for that part. Now that I'm done using my hemming gum on it, I'll turn and then show you how it came out. This is the way it came out. Very neat, very nice. The next thing is to use your ruler to outline the front line, because all that ironing has removed that line, so you just remarked it again. Now remember this part that we cut out in the beginning. The next thing you're going to do is to, this is the remaining ashoke, and next thing you're going to do is to place it and cut exactly the same length, just the way I did. Okay, take it aside again. Now this is going to be the thing that is remaining, indicates the back side. What is left here for me is 19 inches. Now fold it into two and then sew one side. I'll go to my machine and sew. Now that I'm done sewing it, I'll cut it open. Open iron it so that I can relax very well. See, the very important part in everything you're doing is a good steaming iron. Okay, it gives a very big difference, makes everything look beautiful and very well laid. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is from my shoulder, I'm going to mark 8 inches. So from my shoulder, I'll mark 8 inches and then fold one side of my ashoke like this. And place it. If you notice, while I'm placing it, the center is on the center front of my gown. Make sure that the center of your ashoke is on the center front of your gown. So this is it. I'll go ahead to outline so that it can be very noticeable and so that I can understand it very well. Remember, 8 inches from the shoulder, and then place, making sure that the center of the ashoke is lying on the center of your front gown. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to come to this other side and follow this straight line and mark a very straight line. Now I used pencil because one thing I noticed that if you use pencil on ashoke, it will help you to define the line and help you to bend the ashoke very well. So once you use a pencil on ashoke, it defines that line and naturally bends. So yeah, I'm done doing that. So now is the final part. You can decide to give this down, the base, the shape that you want. You can decide to leave it straight, cut it slanting. You can decide to slant it, leave it, anything that you want to do on it. Now that is your preference, but for me, I want to slant one side and the other side. So I'll go ahead to slant this side and also slant the other side. So now this is where your creativity comes in play. You can decide to rock it however you deem fit. So play with it. So I'll go ahead to fold very well. Why I did this thing so that my slant will be accurate and defined and very well done. That's why I folded it this way back so that I can cut it to be properly done. Now I'll lay it down the same way and then fold. This is because this is the shape I want to go in with, so you can do yours the way you want yours to look. However you decide to, just fold it like what I'm doing now. When you come to this other side, you can also fold it in so that I can give you that perfect and neat finishing. So when you place it back, make sure that the center of the ashoke is on the center front of your gown. Okay, then use your hemming gum, place your hemming gum underneath and then sew. When you do this carefully, it's going to come out very beautiful. When you wear it, you find out that your neckline is not slanting one side. It will look very static, look like it was properly done. When you follow this method, you will thank me and you will be happy that you did. All right, so this is how it will come out looking. You go to your machine and then carefully and neatly sew all the sides. Now the next thing we are going to do is, don't forget the sleeves. Yes, the sleeves. So we are going to finish up with the sleeves. So this is how it turned out. You see the back is looking very neat and then the front also is looking very beautiful. Now let's go over to the sleeves. Now for the sleeve, remember our remaining ashoke. I'm going to measure my sleeve and my sleeve gave me 22 inches in total. That's for the front and the back. Now remember our ashoke, and this is the only remaining ashoke. Like I said, if you follow my method, you're going to, one strand of ashoke will be enough for you. Now this is 6.5. I'm going to divide it into 2.1, 2.1. Okay, then cut it in 3 places. Indicates the back. Very important. It's very important to constantly indicate the back of your ashoke. I'm going to cut my ashoke in 3 places. And then use this to recut the first one that I did so that it can be the same. Now I'm going to join and then join this. Open iron. And then fold very tiny. Use your steaming iron. So you notice that it is very important to use your steaming iron. It helps a lot. Now I'm going to join. I'll start from the back. So this is the back. So my front will face the back, and then I'm going to hold, make sure that the center is matching the center, then so hold it. I'm done joining it. The next thing I'm going to do is to top stitch it. Okay, so once you're done top stitching it on the back of your main fabric, just like this, you're going to turn. So I believe by now you already know what we're doing and how you can navigate this place, this point. It is very simple to navigate this point. You're almost done, and if you've watched up onto here, believe me, when you follow this process, you're going to you're going to be happy that you followed this process. All right, so you hold with your hemming gum and iron down, and then go to your machine and sew. First of all, you cut out all the excess and then sew. So this is how it's going to come out, very beautiful. And that is how you do your neckline, and then using one strand of ashoke and also using it to also work your sleeve. Let me know if there's any question and comment, and I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. Bye.